Welcome to Bay Hill News Network News. News sponsored by.
You can now order your Roti Skins from Des Tasty Treats and Roti Skins at telephone 1784-528-2979 or pick up Des Tasty Treats and Roti Skins at Randy's Supermarket. More products are coming soon from Des Tasty Treats and Roti Skins.
In the news.
Sub-Lieutenant Celia Charles rises as the first female Coast Guard officer to attain her rank. Steady determination, a deep sense of purpose, and genuine care for others, these are the qualities that shine brightest in Sub-Lieutenant Celia Charles. In ascending to the rank of sub-lieutenant, she not only breaks new ground as the first female Coast Guard officer to do so in the most recent promotion, but also exemplifies the boundless potential of perseverance and vision. Her journey, shaped by personal faith and an unshakable belief in community service, stands as a symbol of hope for those who dare to forge unconventional paths. Her story took root in August 1997, when she answered the call to serve within the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force, RSVGPF. Though policing was not her initial aspiration, the late Mr. Owen Randolph Charles, her father, Justice of the Peace, retired police officer, and prison officer, offered the wise counsel that propelled her onward. The early days were steeped in challenges, transitioning from civilian life was daunting, and she considered leaving. Yet 6 months of rigorous training revealed her knack for leadership, enabling her to thrive in a field largely occupied by men. Much of her impact has unfolded at the SVG Coast Guard Service, where she has devoted the majority of her 27-year career. Between April 2022 and October 2023, she was seconded to the Regional Security System, RSS, Training Institute as a maritime training officer, further proof of her adaptability and thirst for growth. There, she planned and taught a variety of maritime courses, deepened her strategic thinking, and formed meaningful relationships that have enhanced her aptitude. She relished this opportunity to broaden her horizons, and she urges others to seize similar openings whenever they arise. Alongside her professional duties, Sub-Lieutenant Charles has nurtured a heart for volunteer initiatives, both within the constabulary and beyond. As one of the coordinators of the Vermont Police Youth Club, president of the Women Police Association, and a member of her church's women's ministries, she embodies a spirit of service that complements her law enforcement responsibilities. Undeterred by the fact that female representation in the force remains modest, she is convinced that women can excel locally, regionally, and internationally, making an indelible mark wherever they serve. Her personal influences speak volumes about her trajectory. She admires the poetic brilliance of Maya Angelou and draws inspiration from retired Superintendent Ruth Jacobs, calling her an emblem of excellence for female officers. She also credits Commander A.G. Dion Henry of the SVG Coast Guard Service and Brian Roberts, director of the RSS Training Institute, for shaping her perspective. Above all, she remains grateful to her mother, Mrs. Irma Charles, whose example of humility continues to guide her. Infused with her mantra, Philippians 4 verse 13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, Sub-Lieutenant Charles openly expresses gratitude for the divine grace that has sustained her. She extends thanks to her family and to everyone who contributed to her achievements within the RSVGPF and the SVG Coast Guard Service. Having served at Beat and Patrol, Vermont, Leu, Chateau Belair, Barrawaley, Telecom, SSU, Traffic, and even as an instructor at the police training school, she has built a versatile skill set informed by real-world experience, unflagging zeal, and faith in a higher purpose. In her current role, Sub-Lieutenant Charles oversees both the Coast Guard sub-base in Bequia and the Operations Center at the main Coast Guard base. The Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force celebrates this groundbreaking promotion, confident that her ascent will inspire future generations of women to pursue their calling with the same spirited tenacity. Her rise to sub-lieutenant stands as a testament to possibility, proof that with courage, diligence, and faith, any barrier can be overcome. On January 8, 2025, police arrested and charged Tamal Ballantyne, a 23-year-old mechanic of Glen, with multiple offenses, including threatening language and disobedience of a court order. According to investigations, the accused made threatening statements toward Grandisha Kane, a 21-year-old unemployed resident of Glen, in 2 separate incidents. On December 30, 2024, Ballantyne allegedly stated, "You gone too far, you have to dead, bim bim I going kill you." On January 5, 2025, he allegedly stated, "Grandisha, I'll going F*** **ing kill you." Additionally, Ballantyne was charged with willfully disobeying court order #1754/2024, which was duly issued by Senior Magistrate Mr. Colin John in 2024. The offences were committed at Glen. Ballantyne is expected to appear before the Serious Offences Court to answer the charges. In a coordinated effort, the Rapid Response Unit, RRU, Special Services Unit, SSU, Narcotics Unit, and the Criminal Investigations Department, CID, executed a joint operation in the Green Hill area. As a result of this operation, Simon Simmons, a 33-year-old IT technician employed at the SBG Port Authority and residing in Green Hill, was apprehended. During the arrest, law enforcement officers found Simmons in possession of prohibited ammunition, which included 13 rounds of 7.62 ammunition, 2 rounds of .38 ammunition, and 1 round of shotgun cartridge ammunition. The possession of these items constitutes a serious breach of the law, and the suspect has been taken into custody pending further investigations. The Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force, RSVGPF, remains committed to safeguarding public safety and maintaining law and order. This operation reflects the continued dedication and cooperation among various divisions of the force in targeting and addressing criminal activities within the nation. The RSVGPF urges all citizens to report any suspicious activities or individuals to their nearest police station. Together, we can work to ensure the safety and security of all communities across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Criminal Investigations Department, CID/MCU 784-456-1810. Police Control, 784-457-1211. Public Relations Office, 784-485-6891. Leader of the Opposition, Dr. Godwin Friday at a news conference on Wednesday said they have already identified several shortcomings within the 2025 budget, which they are prepared to highlight during the parliamentary debate. Dr. Friday noted that the Unity Labour Party, ULP, government has been in office for almost 25 years and has failed to deliver on many of its past budget promises. In his view, the 2025 budget will be no different, offering little hope for meaningful change or improvement in the country's economic situation. The opposition leader further maintained that, under the current administration, the country is heading in the wrong direction. The 2025 budget estimates, expected to total around $1.85 billion, will be presented in Parliament on Thursday. According to Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, while the estimates for 2025 has increased from last year's figure, it is still lower than the revised estimates. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves provided an update on the ongoing recovery efforts in the Grenadines, stating that significant progress is being made on all the islands, including the rebuilding and repair of houses. The Prime Minister emphasized that the government continues to do its part in partnership with the investment company, Gumbo Limbo. A second kitchen is expected to open on Union Island at the secondary school, as part of the recovery and support efforts. Regarding the cleanup, the Prime Minister noted that debris and other waste materials continue to be shipped out to Trinidad and Tobago for proper disposal. Prime Minister Gonsalves reiterated that crime does not pay, warning that it often leads to jail time or even an early death. He highlighted that crime in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, SVG, is driven by multiple factors, including greed and drugs. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves addressed the issue of crime on radio on Wednesday, specifically appealing to young men involved in criminal activities. He urged them to stay away from crime, emphasizing that their actions not only negatively impact themselves, but also their families and communities. Fancy will mark the 10th anniversary of the tragic death of 7 students in the rock gutter accident, which occurred on January 12, 2015. The special commemoration will take place this weekend, beginning with a candlelight march from Fancy to the rock gutter and back on Saturday evening. The march will be followed by a wreath-laying ceremony on Sunday morning attended by the families and loved ones of the deceased. The commemoration will culminate on Sunday, January 12, the actual anniversary, with a religious service at the Fancy Government School, where the community will come together for reflection, prayer, and remembrance. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves on radio on Wednesday said that he will be attending the church service on Sunday. The Prime Minister described the occasion as a sad day that will forever be etched in his mind, reflecting on the significance of the event and the emotional impact it holds.
We move to the regional news.
Dominicans are owing millions of dollars in outstanding hospital fees, and the government will be exploring ways in which they can be collected, Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit has said. Speaking during an interview on state-owned DBS Radio on Wednesday morning, he said between 2022 and 2024 over $7 million is yet to be collected for hospital services, and collecting such fees has been a challenge. Meanwhile, Skerrit stated that Dominica has such a good health system that people from overseas are now coming to the island for care. He argued that Dominica should even look at the idea of health tourism because the island has the facility for it. 14 students will be celebrated for their literary achievements during the Queen's Commonwealth Essay Competition, QCC, National Awards, set to take place next week as part of St. Lucia's Nobel Laureate Festival. Michelle Samuel, founder and CEO of the St. Lucia Development and Training Foundation, SLUTRA, which hosts the festival, explained that the event, scheduled for January 15, provides a significant platform for students to showcase their talent. SLUTRA founder and CEO Michelle Samuel. This is not just an awards ceremony, but a celebration of the literary promise and creativity of St. Lucia's youth, said Samuel, who also serves as the event coordination lead of the awards committee. Themed celebrating excellence, acclaiming our trailblazers, inspiring our nation, the ceremony will recognize and reward children who participated in the competition. The QCC National Awards is a highly anticipated event in the annual calendar of the Nobel Laureate Festival, designed to honor the literary creativity of St. Lucia's young minds. Gold, silver, and bronze awardees will receive cash prizes, along with framed certificates, while all participants will be presented with certificates and special tokens. In its latest annual travel guide, Caribbean Journal has recognized Antigua and Barbuda as one of the 25 best Caribbean islands to visit in 2025. The listing, compiled by Alexander Bretell, draws from the publication's extensive regional expertise spanning over a decade and a half. The publication emphasizes their commitment to providing authentic travel insights, noting their exhaustive and comprehensive coverage based on year-round visits and on-the-ground research across the Caribbean islands. In their assessment of Antigua and Barbuda, the publication particularly highlights the destination's embodiment of the quintessential Caribbean experience. There's a reason that Antigua and Barbuda has been the fastest-growing destination in the Caribbean in the last decade. It's just that good, writes Bretell, praising the destination's impressive collection of authentic accommodations, including Hammock Cove, Galley Bay, Kiana, and Jumbie Bay. T. Mary, Jamaica, a taxi operator that plies the route from Oxford to Port Maria in St. Mary, was shot and injured in an early morning attack on Thursday while doing his routine pickup. According to the police, around 6:50 a.m., the taxi operator was on the Freehill Main Road, in the process of picking up his second passenger, when a lime green motor car drove up. A man exited and started firing at the taxi. Georgetown, Guyana, CMC. Guyana's government has forged a strategic partnership with G Mining, a Canadian gold company, to train thousands of Guyanese to work in one of the country's largest gold mines in Region 7. Starting with 1,500 trainees, the program will begin in February 2025 and steadily expand. Once the mine is developed by 2027, even more Guyanese will receive training to work in the mines. The country's Minister of Labour, Joseph Hamilton, briefly detailed the goal of the game-changing collaboration during a press briefing at the ministry's head office on Tuesday. A 29-year-old man has received a life sentence for the murder of Justin Cox Beckles in Turks and Caicos. The court mandated that Brian Alexander Francis must serve a minimum of 29 years and 6 months before becoming eligible for parole. The sentencing follows Francis's conviction on December 18, 2024, for the fatal shooting that occurred at Rock Plaza on Millennium Highway. The court also ordered the destruction of the firearm recovered during the investigation. The incident took place on July 24, 2022, when authorities received an emergency call reporting a male victim with a gunshot wound to the abdomen.
International news is next.
Money Watch. TikTok says it plans to shut down site unless Supreme Court strikes down law forcing it to sell. Money Watch. January 9, 2025 /12:37 p.m. Eastern Standard Time /AP. TikTok says it plans to shut down the social media site in the U.S. by January 19 unless the Supreme Court strikes down or otherwise delays the effective date of a law aimed at forcing TikTok's sale by its Chinese parent company. In one of the most important cases of the social media age, free speech and national security collide at the Supreme Court on Friday in arguments over the fate of TikTok, a wildly popular digital platform that roughly half the people in the United States use for entertainment and information. Working on a tight deadline, the justices also have before them a plea from President-elect Donald Trump, who has dropped his earlier support for a ban, to give him and his new administration time to reach a political resolution and avoid deciding the case. It's unclear if the court will take the Republican president-elect's views, a highly unusual attempt to influence a case, into account. TikTok and China-based ByteDance, as well as content creators and users, argue the law is a dramatic violation of the Constitution's free speech guarantee. Rarely if ever has the court confronted a free speech case that matters to so many people, lawyers for the users and content creators wrote. Content creators are anxiously awaiting a decision that could upend their livelihoods and are eyeing other platforms. The highest court in New York said Thursday it would not prevent the sentencing of President-elect Donald Trump for his crimes, currently scheduled for Friday. A deputy clerk for Judge Jenny Rivera wrote in a two-sentence letter to Trump's lawyer, Todd Blanche, that the judge declined to intervene. Trump was convicted last year on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in the so-called hush money case. The incoming president has also sought an emergency reprieve from the U.S. Supreme Court, claiming on Wednesday in a filing that evidence shown at trial violated his constitutional rights to presidential immunity. Justice Sonia Sotomayor, who oversees requests for emergency relief arising from the Second Circuit, ordered Manhattan prosecutors to respond by Thursday morning. New York prosecutors have told multiple judges this week that they don't believe sentencing should be delayed. The Guinean government, via its spokesperson, has addressed the 2-year prison sentence given to Aliou Ba, the leader of the Model Party, Mouvement Democratique Liberal, for allegedly offending President Mamadi Doumbouya. Siaka Berry, president of the MPDG party, stated, "The Forces Vives have declared that they do not acknowledge the junta following the conclusion of the 2-year transition period, which ended on December 31. We understand their stance, but the reality is that the junta remains in power and in control. We do not share the same tactics or strategy as the Forces Vives, which involve organizing protests and rallying the public to demand the junta's exit in this way. No." While some political figures are criticizing the manipulation of the justice system and labeling it a political trial aimed at sidelining dissenting voices, the Guinean executive spokesperson insists that a clear line must be drawn between criticism and defamation, which he claims is subject to legal consequences. Poland's President Andrzej Duda has called for a special exemption to let Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu attend events in the country marking 80 years since the liberation of the Auschwitz Nazi death camp, without facing the risk of arrest under an international criminal court warrant. Poland will host a memorial service 8 decades after Allied forces seized the notorious camp from German troops and liberated the surviving prisoners on January 27, 1945. Duda sent a letter to Poland's Prime Minister Donald Tusk urging an exemption for Netanyahu, who has not said whether he wishes to attend the annual event, as he's done several times previously, according to a statement confirmed by the head of the Polish president's office, Małgorzata Paprocka. Duda highlighted the significance of the 80th Auschwitz Memorial Service, saying any representatives from Israel, particularly those in leadership positions, should be able to participate without legal obstacles. Jimmy Carter's friendship taught me, strength of character is more than the title or power we hold. It's the strength to understand that everyone should be treated with dignity, respect. That everyone, and I mean everyone, deserves an even shot. After wiping his eyes during Amazing Grace, President Biden stepped up to the podium to deliver his eulogy, recalling his friendship with former President Carter. Elon Musk, who U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has tapped to oversee a government cost-cutting effort, acknowledged that his declared goal of cutting $2 trillion in spending from the $6.8 trillion federal budget would be a long shot. I think if we try for $2 trillion, we've got a good shot at getting one, Musk, the world's richest person, said in a discussion on Wednesday with Mark Penn, a political strategist and former pollster. He described the $2 trillion target as a best-case outcome. China's auto exports are estimated to slow notably this year after holding the export crown for a second year in 2024, with no growth predicted for electric vehicle exports, an auto association official said on Thursday. With car exports up 25% to 4.8 million units, according to the China Passenger Car Association, CPCA, data, China probably ranked as the world's largest auto exporter ahead of Japan for a second consecutive year in 2024, despite additional tariffs on China-made electric vehicles the European Union introduced in late October. Oil prices have changed little today as investors weighed firm winter fuel demand expectations against large U.S. fuel inventories and macroeconomic concerns. Brent crude futures were down 3 cents at $76.13 a barrel. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures dipped 10 cents to $73.22.
This end of Bay News Network news. News sponsored by.
You can now order your Roti Skins from Des Tasty Treats and Roti Skins at telephone 1784-528-2979 or pick up Des Tasty Treats and Roti Skins at Randy's Supermarket. More products are coming soon from Des Tasty Treats and Roti Skins.
Audio Jungle.
Sports is next.
Audio Jungle.
Sports was sponsored by.
Looking for a place to relax with natural cool breeze and friendly surroundings? Then check the Bay Hill Tree Bar, located at Bay Hill Cane Garden. We have everything a bar will have. We also sell Shell 20 pounds of cooking gas at the Bay Hill Tree Bar.
In the sports.
The 54-year-old has been rewarded for steering part-time Tamworth to a money-spinning FA Cup showdown with Spurs, after beating Macclesfield, Huddersfield Town and Burton Albion to reach the third round. Peakes previously split his time as a support worker at Tresham College in Kettering, with his role as Tamworth's part-time boss. But Sunsport can reveal the club have moved swiftly to persuade Peakes to turn full-time after plowing some of the profits raised by Sunday's glamour tie to secure his long-term future. Peakes has been a sensation since he took charge of Tamworth in February 2022, after quitting Rushden and Diamonds to take over from Gary Smith. He saved the club from the drop in his first season in charge after leading the relegation-threatened Lambs to a 13-game unbeaten run. Glenn Johnson thinks Man Utd's impressive performance at Anfield will have Ruben Amorim pulling his hair out. Speaking ahead, Man Utd's performance at Anfield was the best they've looked for a long time. They've shown they're capable and they've got the players to do it, but they don't do it often enough. To be honest, sometimes it's easier to put in a big performance in that kind of game, because they know they have to, otherwise they'll get battered. That almost makes it worse, because they've shown everyone that they can perform to that level. You have to give them credit for rolling their sleeves up and putting in a performance, but why aren't they doing it every week?
This end of our sports news. Sports was sponsored by.
Looking for a place to relax with natural cool breeze and friendly surroundings? Then check the Bay Hill Tree Bar, located at Bay Hill Cane Garden. We have everything a bar will have. We also sell Shell 20 pounds of cooking gas at the Bay Hill Tree Bar.
Audio Jungle.